Guys, so I have like 10 minutes left of the True Scary Stories animated by Corpse Husband. Um, I started watching these, I don't know, like a couple hours ago, and I can't stop watching them. I love them. I love how like real they are, even though this one it literally says the next story's legitimacy cannot be confirmed. It's an old deep web story. Um, I don't know. I guess you get what you get. Um, I don't know why I just ramble off. Let's just keep watching this. Number five.
So, I've been watching a YouTube series about deep web exploration. I won't name the series or the channel it belongs to. I'm not getting paid for advertisements. Anyway, I looked up a video on how to access said deep web. I did it fast and dirty, not much research on what not to do. Big mistake. Let me tell you right now, using Windows on the deep web is a bad idea. That much I did know. Easy to get hacked that way since it's the most prominent OS. I know you can boot up a live USB on a Linux clone OS. A simple Google search can tell you how to do that. It's not as difficult as it sounds. But I figured if my laptop gets hacked, I'm screwed. I can't exactly afford to just buy a new one right now. So I thought I'd be smart and use my Android tablet. What a genius, right? Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot.
What did you mean?
So a few VPN apps later and I'm surfing the deep web, looking around like a little kid in an adult store. I have no clue what any of it means, but I'm interested in it all. I'm aware you can find a lot of snuff in pedo rings, so I treaded carefully. Unfortunately, I stumbled upon one of the two. I'm not going to say which, but it made me sick to my stomach.
That reminds me of like the snuff video, sorry, about um like the Netflix series, the Don't Fuck with Cats with I think it's on like Luca Magnotta. Um it's just crazy like that people watch things like that or get off on things like that, like how he posted the video to YouTube. I think it was called like One Ice Pick and a Maniac or something like that, where he literally murdered a man with an ice pick and then posted it on YouTube, thinking that like that's okay, that he should do that. And oh my god, I don't even know. It's just insane. People are insane.
And I nearly quit then and there. In fact, I did, for a few minutes. I chalked it up to bad luck and resolved to be more careful. I'm not into that shit, not by a long shot. I'm not some deviant with fetishes for snuff or kids. Jeez, man. That image will probably be burned into my brain for the rest of my miserable life. Anyway, I'm browsing for a few hours and it's after 3 a.m. I've heard it's better to use the deep web at night. Less traffic.
I'm sorry to keep pausing this, but I can't stop thinking about like the snuff videos. Like it's crazy. I get like morbid curiosity, and like I get that all the time, where I remember like searching um on the internet, like when there'd be like major accidents or something like that, and there's videos like on YouTube or just on the internet of like people dying. And I mean, like those videos are absolutely horrible, and like every time like I'm like, oh, like you get so desensitized. I can't even talk. I'm not even gonna try. Like with the media nowadays, watching like horror movies and like stories like this, where you think, oh yeah, like no big deal, but then you actually see it, and it's completely different. Like it feels horrible for me, especially, at least to me. And then to think that there's actually videos of people committing murders or like actually doing that to another person, compared to like a complete freak accident, like a car accident or something where you see somebody die or get hit by a train. Like those train videos are absolutely insane. They make me feel sick to my stomach. Um, just that people would go out of their way to actually watch videos like that blows my mind.
Traffic that way. I found a few interesting sites. There's tons of religious stuff on there. You'd be
I'm
surprised how often
sensitized.
you find Satanists.
I can
Or
say.
at least people who claim to be Satanists. Most of the time, it's likely to be some edgy teenagers rebelling against their religious families. I won't get into my religious views, don't worry. It even has several of its own social networks and email services. No, thank you. You're begging to be stalked by some creep if you use one of those. Or better yet, get scammed by a catfish or honeypot. There are loads of conspiracy blogs as well, both interesting and hilarious. Everything from Justin Bieber is secretly a reptilian member of the Illuminati to leaked files on human experimentation.
Those lizard people conspiracy theories are my favorite.
There was even a guy who claimed to have stumbled across interdimensional travel via falling into an actual rabbit hole, as in a literal physical hole in the ground made by a rabbit. I'd say you can't make this stuff up, but clearly you can.
Oh, Alex.
I was serious about the human experimentation, by the way. You're going to want to avoid that kind of stuff. If you had any faith in humanity, you'd lose it in a heartbeat. My God, I mean, I hope that stuff wasn't legit. Gun shops, drug shops, celebrity nudes, pirated movies, hackers for hire, hitmen, virus programmers, script kiddies, stolen credit cards, you name it. There was one site that sold stolen US currency that was supposed to be marked for shredding due to age or poor condition. Seems like they got a lot of business too. No wonder the economy is in the toilet. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of legitimate stuff on there too. I visited the site of a really smart dude who was creating his own custom operating system, even had games and stuff on it. There was funny things too. A mock cult made for people named Dan was among my favorites. The people that weren't maniacs seemed to be open-minded, if a little paranoid. Then I came across a site that supposedly gives you access to the webcams of people's personal laptops. I was curious. I shouldn't have.
The fear of everybody over the age of 40.
I know. I'm not expecting to see some cam girls here. Just some slack-jawed people staring blankly at their screens while watching Let's Plays or some shit. And that's exactly what I saw. Neckbeards, teenagers, old men looking
It's exactly what I would look like. That's what I do look like here.
confused. The works.
Always confused.
Here's me laughing at unsuspecting people. Then I saw myself. Ha ha, very funny, I thought sarcastically. It's tapping into my camera and trying to give me a good scare. It almost did, at first. Even so, I logged off. I kinda realized how bad what I was doing was. Not to mention how illegal it was. I went back to the clear web and watched some Netflix. Soon enough, I had all but forgotten about my deep web exploits. Then my Skype starts ringing. Another Skype number is calling me. I think maybe it's one of my friends trying it out. After all, I have been pestering one of them for a while to get on Skype so we can chat while playing games on Steam. So I pick it up. At first there was silence. Then I heard a voice.
It looks like Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
A man's voice. He sounded like he was an older guy, 50 plus. Looking good, he said. Without a second's hesitation, I hung up, deleted every deep web related app
Quick, remove your memory card. Put it in player slot number 2.
on my tablet, shut down and restarted my router. I have no fucking clue how that guy got my Skype number. And to be quite honest, I don't want to know. All I know is, if you're going to use the deep web, I beg of you, for your own safety, do more research than I did. Talk to someone who has experience in setting up a proper VPN or some other kind of anonymity. You're sure as hell not going to find it on fucking Google Play.
I'm okay. I don't think that I will be going to the dark web. My own web is scary enough.
My name is Corey, and I've spent a lot, and I mean a lot of time camping, hiking, and hunting. I've seen all kinds of predators, and I've been in some sticky situations. Everything from a tornado heading my way to being tailed by some bears, so I don't exactly frighten easily. This past July, I was out camping near my family's farm in western Iowa, along with my girlfriend Alexa, my best friend Jason, and his new girlfriend, Samantha. Samantha actually had never been camping before, let alone more than a mile off the trail in the middle of a forest. She was understandably nervous, but we were watching out for her. We do have to watch out for prairie rattlers, poison ivy, and even mountain lions in this part of the state. We made camp in a clearing on top of a small hill with a few trees, but we were deep in the woods to be sure. We arrived to make camp, eat, drink, and went to bed by midnight. Nobody had any injury besides a few mosquito bites. Everything was going according to plan until suddenly I woke up to the sound of Samantha screaming at the top of her lungs. I just couldn't believe how loud she was screaming. It was actually insane. I woke up, I guess at the same time as Alexa, grabbed my light and my Glock and ran out. I told her to stay in our tent just in case. Jason was already trying to comfort Samantha, and she was talking, almost babbling about something huge walking through camp and scratching at the tent and making a terrible sound. I told her it could have been a coyote or even a mountain lion. What little food and trash we did have was outside of the camp area, so that wasn't an issue. But I assured her that I would stay up and light the fire again. That I would take turns with Jason watching the fire because our movement and the fire should scare anything away. This seemed to comfort her, and she actually went to sleep in with Alexa. Jason and I both stayed awake talking quietly, watching the fire and checking around camp for tracks and signs. We couldn't see anything obviously wrong or suspicious. It certainly could have been a mountain lion, and this did have me on edge with the girls there. About 30 minutes had passed and Jason walked just out of the firelight to take a leak. He was off to my left, my tent across the fire in front of me and Jason's tent behind me. There, off to my empty right, I saw something and heard a large crunch. Jason heard it also and was practically still pulling up his pants running towards the fire. "What the hell was that?"
Literally caught with your pants down.
"That is big," he said. I know, it could be a big cat. Better get your 44 out of your bag too and get that bright tack light, I told him. He returned with those items and we waited to illuminate whichever area we heard more movement from next. Then we heard a crunch and a snap. More movement almost directly behind us. We stood up simultaneously and spun around, turning the brightest light on. For just a second, we saw what almost looked like a gorilla-sized and shaped figure disappear back into the trees. At this point, I'm trying to keep it together and Jason is just frozen. I tell him to snap out of it and that we need to get the fire to grow. Once the fire is larger, we both need to take a position, one in front and one in the back of the tent to protect the girls. We heard this awful grumbling and...
I love hearing with stories like these, people that can remain so calm and come up with actual ideas instead of just complete panic or freezing.
growling sound for the rest of the night. I have never heard anything like it. And large...
as real as this story is.
Crunching and snapping sounds continued to emanate from the woods behind Jason's tent and really all around us. Periodically, we would see something move either to our left or right in the clearing just outside the trees. I kept the fire going. I actually had the fire pretty enormous by the end of the night. As soon as the sun started coming up, we packed up. On our way out, we saw large prints in the mud down by a small stream at the base of the hill we were camped on top of. I can't really say anything other than the fact that they basically looked like a huge man's prints. The thing we saw was definitely not a man. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was going to hurt us. I don't know if it was Bigfoot. Frankly, I don't want to know. The way I see it, it's really not relevant because I was thinking it was a mountain lion initially. Those are also dangerous. I won't let this stop me from camping. Sometimes I guess you just hear scary things at night in the woods. Because scary things do live in the woods. I guess that's just part of the adventure.
Bigfoot, when he got his entire body shaved and grew his hair out. See, I thought I'd be able to find a screenshot.
His friend Jason and Lettle and Sound of woke up already trying to issue for her stay to have me on edge.
I'm sorry, I just want to see him so bad. And look at that. The fuck is that? That doesn't look like Bigfoot. Stop going to these woods.
Edge with the girls there. 30 minutes had passed. Adams and we waited to illuminate more movement almost directly behind us.
I want to see
We
him.
stood up simultaneously and spun around, turning the brightest light on. For just a second, we saw what almost looked like a gorilla-sized and
So Bigfoot, when he shaved his body, he got waxed, grew out his hair though, and put on some underwear. It looks like... Oh my god. Anyways, I think that that's all I'm going to watch for now. Thank you guys so much for actually watching these if you do. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to watch or talk about or try. I know that I can't really talk very much during these videos, especially these ones. I find that the True Scary Stories animated is like there's a lot less in between kind of like words or descriptions than the My Story animated or My True Story animated. But if you guys want me to watch more of these or more like the My Story animated or play video games, anything like that, let me know. And I like doing all those things. So thank you very much again for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.